Imagine a dream so audacious, so improbable, that the world laughs it off. A dream born not in the gilded academies of football, but in the gritty reality of a factory floor, under the shadow of an ankle monitor. This is not a fairy tale. This is the raw, unvarnished truth of Jamie Vardy. They said he was too small. They said he was too wild. They said he was a reject. But what if the greatest stories aren't written by the chosen few, but by the ones who refuse to be counted out? What if the most extraordinary journey begins when everyone else has given up on you? This is the untold saga of a man who clawed his way from the very bottom, defying every expectation, every expert, every single odd stacked against him. This is the story of Jamie Vardy, the Sunday League rebel who didn't just play in the Premier League, he conquered it, and in doing so, he ignited a fire in the heart of a city, proving that sometimes the most unlikely heroes are the ones who change everything. Every city has a story of its people, its triumphs, and its struggles. But in 2016, the city of Leicester became the setting for a story so unbelievable it felt like a Hollywood movie. A story of a team that defied 5,000 to 1 odds to win the Premier League, and at the heart of that story was one man. Before the Premier League glory, before the Golden Boot, before the FA Cup triumph, Jamie Vardy was just Jamie Vardy, a lad from Sheffield, working his socks off in a carbon fiber factory, making medical splints. Imagine that. 1 minute you're crafting bespoke supports for wonky ankles, the next, you're twisting defenders' ankles on the pitch. Talk about a career pivot. At 16, Sheffield Wednesday, his boyhood club, told him he was too small, too slight, not good enough. Most would pack it in, but not Jamie. He plunged into the murky, glorious depths of non-league football. Stocksbridge Park Steels. Here, the pitches were more mud than grass. The changing rooms smelled of liniment and broken dreams. And the pay? A princely £30 a week. But it was football, raw, unfiltered, beautiful football. And Jamie, with his boundless energy and a knack for finding the net, was a fish in very muddy water.
And then there was the ankle tag, a constant, buzzing reminder of a youthful indiscretion. Imagine trying to outrun a defender when you've got a piece of electronic jewelry strapped to your leg, beeping if you stray too far from home after dark. It's like a real-life video game with a very strict curfew. But even that couldn't slow him down. In fact, it probably just made him run faster, knowing he had to get home before the electronic leash yanked him back. From Stocksbridge, he moved to Halifax Town, then Fleetwood Town. With each new club, he brought his unique brand of chaos and brilliance, leaving a trail of bewildered defenders and ecstatic fans in his wake. By the time Leicester City came calling in 2012, Vardy was 25. Not exactly a spring chicken in football terms, but Leicester, under the shrewd eye of then-manager Nigel Pearson, saw something special. They saw the raw potential, the unpolished diamond, the relentless engine that just wouldn't quit, and they shelled out a cool £1 million for him, a non-league record. People scoffed. £1 million for a non-league lad with an ankle tag. Had Leicester lost their minds? Oh, how little they knew. His first season in the Championship wasn't exactly a fairy tale. The step-up was massive. The pressure was immense. The fans, well, they weren't always kind. Vardy admits he struggled. He lost confidence. But then came the intervention. Nigel Pearson and his assistant Craig Shakespeare sat him down. They didn't just tell him to buck up. They talked to him. They understood his struggles. They reminded him of his unique qualities, his pace, his tenacity. It was the moment the trajectory of not just Jamie Vardy's career, but the entire footballing world began to shift. And boy, did it shift. The next season, Vardy was a man possessed. He wasn't just playing, he was flying. He was a blur of motion, a nightmare for defenders, and a constant threat, dragging them back into the promised land of the Premier League. But even then, no one, and I mean no one, could have predicted what was about to happen. The 2015-16 season. the season that defied logic, shattered expectations, and rewrote the history books. Leicester City, the newly promoted underdogs, the team that was tipped for relegation, were about to embark on the most improbable sporting triumph of all time, and Jamie Vardy, the factory worker, the non-league rebel, was about to become their unlikely king. The season started quietly enough, a few wins here, a few draws there. But then, something clicked. A spark ignited, and that spark was Jamie Vardy. He started scoring, and scoring, and scoring. Game after game, he found the back of the net. His pace was electrifying, his finishing clinical, and his celebrations pure, unadulterated joy. The world watched in disbelief as he broke Ruud van Nistelrooy's record, scoring in 11 consecutive Premier League games. 11. That's like eating 11 packets of crisps in a row and still wanting more. It was an astonishing feat, a testament to his unwavering focus and his insatiable hunger for goals. And as Vardy scored, Leicester soared. The team, a band of misfits and cast-offs, played with a fearless abandon that bewildered their more illustrious opponents. They were a team of brothers fighting for each other, for their city, and for the sheer joy of proving everyone wrong. The pundits, the bookmakers, the footballing elite, they all scratched their heads. How were Leicester doing this? And the answer, often, was simply Jamie Vardy. The climax of the season was pure drama. Every game felt like a cup final. The tension was palpable. And then it happened. Tottenham, their closest rivals, drew with Chelsea. The impossible had become reality. Leicester City were Premier League champions. The 5,000-to-1 outsiders had done it. The city erupted. The world watched in awe. And Jamie Vardy, the man who almost quit, was at the heart of it all. A beaming smile on his face, a trophy in his hands, and a lifetime of memories etched into his soul. For his incredible efforts, Vardy was named Premier League Player of the Season, a fitting tribute to a player who had not only lit up the league, but had also inspired millions with his incredible story. But the accolades didn't stop there. At 33, an age when most strikers are contemplating retirement, Vardy won the Premier League Golden Boot, becoming the oldest player ever to do so. And then came the FA Cup, the one trophy that had eluded Leicester for so long. In 2021, Vardy added another chapter to his legendary career, helping the Foxes lift the coveted trophy. He became the first player to have played in every single round of the FA Cup, from the preliminary rounds with his non-league clubs all the way to the final at Wembley. It was the ultimate full-circle moment, a testament to his incredible journey from the very bottom to the pinnacle of English football. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Jamie Vardy's story is his loyalty. In an age where players jump ship at the first whiff of a bigger contract, Vardy stayed. He turned down Arsenal, a club that offered him Champions League football and a significant pay rise. Why? Because he loved Leicester. He loved the club that gave him a chance, the fans who embraced him, and the city that became his home. It's a rare quality in modern football, a refreshing display of genuine affection and commitment. Jamie Vardy's story is more than just a footballing tale. It's a human story. It's a story about resilience, about never giving up on your dreams, no matter how many times you're knocked down. It's about finding your place, embracing your quirks, and proving that the underdog can, and often does, triumph. He didn't just win trophies, he won hearts. He didn't just score goals, he inspired a generation. He didn't just play for Leicester, he became Leicester. So the next time you see Jamie Vardy tearing down the wing, remember the factory floor, the ankle tag, the muddy pitches, and the 5,000-to-1 odds. Remember the man who refused to be defined by his past, who dared to dream big, and who, against all logic, made that dream a reality. He's not just a footballer, he's a legend, a quirky, lovable, utterly brilliant legend. And his story? Well, his story is just getting started.